Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, January 15th. Happy Martin Luther King Day. You know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I'm going to just roll with it. I am your host, Black and Proud, Jeremy Pierce. And as always, you know you can check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter, and Charismatic Creations on Patreon as well. Without further ado, let's get into the news. We have been told, essentially by the Wrestling Observer, that Mercedes Moné is pretty much signed to AEW and her debut is coming soon. We got to find out. We got Deonna Purrazzo and Trish Adora really shined over in New Japan, so we'll see what's going on with Mercedes. I think she's signing with AEW. I don't think she's going back to the WWE. Reports are saying that Tama Tonga, one of the original founding members of the Bullet Club, has been fired from New Japan. He is currently not on their website. And this is not true. This was all at the behest of Evil and threatening staff members. So Tama Tonga is fine and will still be in New Japan. Mickie James is now the creative director and head of female talent for Ohio Valley Wrestling. She's also the executive producer for the OVW wrestling shows. The specifics of this new deal is unknown, but this is great. Her and Al Snow are going to make big changes and do really, really good things in OVW. NWA will be launching their weekly show this week on the CW app. It is coming starting February 6th on the CW app and CW TV. I am hoping this works for them. If you haven't heard, if you weren't paying attention over the weekend, we had a lot of wrestling. There are 3 major shows going on Saturday. One of them was Hard to Kill, and Dolph Ziggler, now using his real name Nick Nemeth, debuted for TNA. He is officially signed for TNA. Also, during that same night, New Japan held Battle in the Valley, and one Jack Perry showed up, ripped up his AEW contract, and he is now in New Japan. It's probably a deal storyline that they're doing with AEW, but send him over there and let him get some good work in. And back to Hard to Kill, one Dana Brooke, now going by Ash by Elegance, is now with TNA. And I'm curious. Ash by Elegance is a very unique name, and some are already writing her off, saying that she's copying Timeless Toni Storm. Sticking with TNA, they have announced a partnership with AAA to bring in more Lucha Libre to America, to bring in some more American stars over to AAA. It's just a nice little good crossover promotion. I'm trying to tell y'all don't know this. TNA is the real Forbidden Door. And sticking with TNA Explosion will be making their return. It will be making its back. TNA Explosion was kind of like Sunday Night Heat, metal, dark. It's just another show that they can have. It was replaced by Before the Impact, but we are bringing it back. It's kind of like a pre-show to their shows to get more people more time, to get more storylines, so you don't have to force everything on the Impact Wrestling show. And Hard to Kill was TNA's largest gate in a decade. That shows that we are excited for TNA. On the injury side of things, Giovanni Vinci is out with a concussion. He will be sidelined for a number of weeks. He got injured in that tag team match with his partner taking on the New Day. It looks like Phoenix and Pac will be both making their returns soon. They've just had some really, really hard injuries, and with the style they wrestle, Pence has been doing fine with Commander and Vikingo. CJ Perry had MRSA, and she's been in and out of the hospital. She's back in the hospital with complications happening due to surgery had from healing, and she has an infection, but she's working on just got to regroup. And now that Andrade is gone, we'll see what's next. Where I assume she's going to end up with her husband Austin Theory. His condition after SmackDown, he's fine. He went for a seated Spanish Fly in his match versus Carmelo Anthony. He's not hurt. We're just taking some precautions, and looks like he is fine. Same thing with Mello. Charlotte suffered an additional neck injury on top of her knee surgery, so she is just out. She's just out. She tore her MCL, her ACL, and her meniscus. She's just going to be gone. Remove her from your brain. And Darby he suffered a neck injury after during that tag team match from Dynamite this past week. We don't know what the specifics were, but he took a really, really hard bump. But that is the news. Those are the injuries, and we shall be right back with the week in review. All right, let's get into the week in review. Monday Night Raw. It's an okay show, but you need to learn to not hinder the gender. So the show starts off with Drew in the ring. And look, he starts to partially blame himself for the loss last week, but then he also puts the blame on Priest, like, yo, why Drew have to come and cash it? Then he takes shots at CM Punk, prompted CM Punk to come out. And I'm going to be honest with you, Drew got the better of Punk on the mic. He tells Punk to fall in line and that he's now the locker room leader, and you look up to him and you follow his lead. And Punk just let it ride until, that he's going to win the Royal Rumble. Drew said he's going to win the championship for him this time, not for the people, because remember, Drew was champion during the pandemic. Ciampa defeated Finn. Both Priest and Johnny Gargano got involved, so this is going to set up for a tag team title match. Kofi Kingston versus Ludwig Kaiser ended in a double countout after Kaiser viciously assaulted Kofi on the outside. Rhea and Nia have a conversation in the ring, so we're clearly setting up a title match for them too. I'm assuming if it's not the Rumble, then it'll be Rhea versus Nia at the Elimination Chamber. Katana and Kaden retained the Women's Tag Team Championships over Chelsea Green and Piper Niven after Chelsea accidentally hit Piper with a Vader bomb. A lot of the women in the back were watching. Got some new challenges on the horizon. We had just a beautiful and hilariously funny video package of R-Truth talking about his time with the Judgment Day. It was so good. Live, laugh, love with the Judgment Day. Miz defeated JD McDonough. Seth and Jinder set up a world title match for next week tonight. Ivar defeated Otis. This was a quick 5-minute sprint, but nice little showcase for these two horses. Bronson Reed tells Jay to not get in his way since Jay said he's looking for singles gold this year. And in the main event, Cody Rhodes defeated Shinsuke Nakamura in a street fight. Shinsuke Nakamura loses another feud over on Dynamite. This was the AEW homecoming show. So Hangman Page defeated Claudio Castagnoli. This was also a tribute show a little bit to Brody King. So we had the team of Adam Copeland, Dustin Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and Preston Vance defeat the Gates of Agony, Brian Cage, and Lance Archer after the latter team would not tag in Lance Archer. Preston Vance got the win. Bullet Club Gold wants gold, and the claim still suggests teaming up, calling themselves the Bang Bang Scissors Gang. Samoa Joe in the ring sets up the rules for the title shot. No more crying with some hoe ass tweets. Your record has to say something. You have to earn your way. But he says, listen, if you're good and your record says you're good, you can jump to the front of the line. Swerve comes out and tells Joe that it's not personal. It wasn't personal against Hangman Page, and Hangman Page made it personal. And he's telling Joe it's not personal. I just won the championship. Hangman Page comes out and says he's coming for the title, and he gets in Swerve's face, and Swerve's like, I beat you twice, dog. Like, I beat you twice. And then when that's all said and done, Hook comes out, and he goes face to face with Joe. And Hook does have the record to jump the line, because Hook is currently, as of this recording, 29-1. So yeah, we're getting Joe versus Hook for the world title. Tony Storm wants to set up a meeting with Deonna Purrazzo. Mariah May asks Tony, like, yeah, did you watch my match? And Tony was like, No, I just got the screener, and it was just good. Tony's just doing great work here. Sammy Guevara defeated Ricky Starks. This was a solid match. He, as in Sammy, offered a handshake to Ricky, which Ricky accepted, but then Big Bill attacked Sammy, and it's like, screw it. And it was a tag team brawl that broke out. The team of Anna Jay, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Thunder Rosa defeated the Outcasts. Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Anna Jay got the win, tapping out Sky Blue. Wheeler Yuta wants a piece of Eddie Kingston. Roderick Strong defeated Brian Keith. The Undisputed Kingdom makes their plans for the championships, and essentially we're all setting up. This is all to set up a Wardlow face turn, essentially. Red Velvet will be Deonna Purrazzo's debut match on Collision. In the main event, Darby Allin and Sting defeated Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs in a tornado tag match. After the match, the Young Bucks came out, made their return, and looks like they may be Sting's final match. Over on TNA, we just had the Hard to Kill preview, which was fine. Hard to Kill this past weekend, so let's go over the Hard to Kill results. Steve Macklin defeated Rich Swann. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers defeated Kaz and Eric Young. Crazy Steve defeated Tommy Dreamer to win the Digital Media Championship. These three matches were all on the pre-show. We opened up with Giselle Shaw defeating Tasha Steelz, Danny Luna, Jody Threat, Alicia Edwards, and Zaya Brookside in an Ultimate X match to become the #1 contender for the Knockouts Championship. PCO defeated Dirty Dango by DQ, which led to PCO, Rhino, and Jake Something teaming up to take on Dirty Dango, Oleg Prudis, and Johnny Bravo, which the former team won. The Decay returned and defeated MK Ultra to win the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Chris Sabin defeated El Hijo del Vikingo and Kushida, retaining the X Division Championship. Josh Alexander defeated Alex Hammerstone. ABC retained the TNA Tag Team Championships in a fatal four-way, defeating the Grizzled Young Veterans, the Rascalz, and Mike Bailey and Laredo Kid. Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke, is now part of TNA. Jordynne Grace defeated Trinity to win the TNA Knockouts Championship. And in the main event, Moose defeated Alex Shelley to win the TNA World Championship. This was Moose using his Feast or Fired contract, whereas Jordynne Grace was using the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match win. After the Moose win, Nick Nemeth arrived, super kicks Moose, and they hit him with a zigzag. So I can say this: I watched the show. I was watching a lot of wrestling Saturday. Hard to Kill was, in my opinion, a resounding success. I'm looking forward to what's next for TNA. Over on SmackDown, this was the mid-show. This is the first time in a long time I'm giving a show a thumbs down. This was just their show, and I'll break it down to you as we go through the show. We open up with Grayson Waller, also Theory, coming out for their match against Cameron Grimes. Grimes comes out, but the Bloodline attacked him. Heyman says they're not the bad guys. Nick Aldis says Nick Aldis is not taking any of the Bloodline's crap, and he tells Heyman that the Bloodline need to find a partner for the main event. If they don't find one, it will be a handicap match. We had a high package for Santos Escobar and his new team. So Santos with Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, and then you have Carlito and Ray with Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wild, and Zelina Vega. I'm hoping for Elektra Lopez to be called up. I'm really hoping she gets called up. Jimmy goes looking for a partner as well. Angel and Humberto defeated Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild. This was a good match. Carlito attacks Santos, who was at ringside. The LWO declines Paul Heyman. Logan Paul threatens to sue KO, and this is stupid, but it makes sense for Logan Paul to do this. We had a little video segment with Butch and Tyler Bate. They're at a bar, and essentially we're going to be moving forward with Pete Dunne coming back and dropping the Butch name, and I hated this result because I get why they did it. It makes sense, but Bianca Belair defeated Bayley once again, and Damage Control did not interfere, and later on Dakota Kai gaslit Bayley. I hate when they write people as stupid, because Bayley should see this coming. Bayley is really good. We see that on the screen. Whatever. KO says he won't be moved by Logan Paul's threats. The Pride, which is the name of the Lashley and Street Profits team says they aren't afraid of the Testament, which is the AOP and Karrion Kross team. Carmelo Hayes versus Austin Theory ended with a ref stoppage. I told you early in the show, Theory went for that seated Spanish fly and it just didn't pan out or work properly. And in the main event, the Bloodline couldn't find a partner, so they attacked Randy Orton, and they still lost because Randy Orton healed up and won the match. And then they all put Solo Sikoa through a table. Standard SmackDown. I love SmackDown. This was just a boring show. Over on Rampage, Eddie Kingston defeated Wheeler Yuta to retain the Continental Crown. The Hardys team up with Mark Briscoe. I don't care about the Hardys complaining and crying that they're on Rampage strictly right now, not Collision. You did it to yourselves. More specifically, Jeff Hardy, you did this to yourself. Swerve Strickland defeated Matt Sydal. Private Party and Top Flight will have a match at some point. This is going to be good. Hikaru Shida defeated Queen Aminata, and the reports came out that Queen Aminata has probably signed with AEW, so she looked a lot stronger here in this match. Saraya breaks up Ruby Soho and Angela Parker. She shows Ruby a video of Angelo kissing Harley Cameron, and Angela comes up, has got a cake for Ruby, and she's pissed. She puts the cake in his face. She's like, that's not what happened. And as they walk away, even Renee was like, you trash. He played the rest of the video. He pushed Harley Cameron off. It's like, yo, what are you doing? So I like this. I like other storylines. The Dark Order in the main event defeated the team of Angela Parker and Matt Menard. Over on Collision, we had Lee Moriarty losing the Cope Open, but he still put in some good work. FTR and Dan Garcia says they will grow together on Collision. When's the last time you saw FTR on Dynamite? The Mogul Embassy retained the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships over Lance Archer and the Righteous. I really thought Lance Archer and the Righteous were going to win this. Dustin Rhodes defeated Willie Mack, and then he confronted Christian after the match. And as you know, Dustin Rhodes does have a dead dad. Hangman Page defeated JD Drake. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Red Velvet in Deanna's debut match. Hook won a squash. And in the main event, the House of Black defeated FTR and Daniel Garcia. FTR tried to, they ended up fighting off Brody King and the rest of the House of Black and hitting a Shatter Machine. Over on Battle of the Belts, this is Battle of the Belts 10. And as you know, when we have Battle of the Belts, championships never, ever, ever change hands. So Big Bill and Ricky Starks defeated Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, retaining the AEW World Tag Team Championships in a street fight. This was good. This went about 20 minutes. I'm almost sure they taped this at Daly's place because the match never hit the ring for Battle of the Belts. Julia Hart defeated Anna Jay, retaining the TBS Championship. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal keep falling out. We're going to see where this goes. And in the main event, Orange Cassidy defeated Preston Vance, retaining the AEW International Championships. The Kingdom confronts Orange Cassidy after the match. So it was a good week of wrestling. We had New Japan Battle of the Valley. We'll give you some of the matches from that because they made the matches of the week. But speaking of the matches of the week from Dynamite, Hangman Page versus Claudio Castagnoli. These two are just incapable of having a bad match. From Hard to Kill, Chris Sabin versus El Hijo del Vikingo versus Kushida for the X Division Championship. Josh Alexander versus Alex Hammerstone. ABC versus Grizzled Young Veterans, the Rascalz and Speedball Mike Bailey and Laredo Kid for the TNA Tag Team Championships. Jordynne Grace versus Trinity for the TNA Knockouts Championship. And Moose versus Alex Shelley for the TNA World Championship. Those were all from Hard to Kill. Then we have Collision, the House of Black versus FTR and Daniel Garcia. This was a banger of a trios match. And then that same night we had New Japan Battle in the Valley, and from there we got Julia versus Trish Adora for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Really, really good. Trish Adora is really underused on Ring of Honor because she looked great here. Jon Moxley versus Shingo Takagi in a no DQ match, and Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay already in your early match of the year candidate. These were all from Battle of the Valley, but I'm giving the star of the week, ladies and gentlemen, giving that to TNA Wrestling for very, very obvious reason. It is a really, really good time to be a wrestling fan. But that is our show. Thank you all for listening, for watching. This coming week, we have a list tomorrow, what to look forward to this year, what I'm looking forward to this year. And this Saturday, we have the High Wrestling Podcast, episode 159, wrestlers to look out for in 2024. We have Wrestling Reddit every Thursday, and of course the High Wrestling Recap every single Sunday. But that is our show, and I will see you this week. Peace.